Do you think he's scared of getting burned again? He's probably sleeping right now. Are you going to stop cursing? I don't talk about Trump in front of my daughter. You're friends with Kim and Kanye, and they kind of have a relationship with him. Do you want Kim to put in a good word for you? No, I'm good on him not liking me. Kim and Kanye have gotten a lot done with him by working with him, and I know that the original tweet was about that and reform. Sorry, there's not much I could say to explain what was happening. I just got all these phone alerts, some being from Andy, and I was like, what's happening? So I go on Twitter to see it, but I'm still blocked, so I have no idea what he said. The president has blocked you because you've said some things about him and he didn't like it, so he blocked you? I've said a lot of things, I mean, this wasn't that random. I've said a lot of things since like 2012. We're going to pay you back, we're going to do the best job, buckle up because Chrissy Teigen just torched Donald Trump on live TV, and it's the kind of brutal, no mercy takedown that has the internet losing its mind. In a moment so savage, it should come with a warning label. Chrissy didn't just drag Trump, she steamrolled him, reversed, and did it again. What did she say that left even his most loyal fans scrambling? Trust me, you won't see this coming. This is the roast of the century, and it's absolutely unmissable. Earlier you testified about a 2019 tweet that was about President Trump, and I think it was from Miss Tan. What was the tweet about? Would you like me to give the direct quote? Yeah, please. Excuse my language, this is a direct quote, but Chrissy Tan referred to Donald Trump as an ass. Okay, free speech. Before we move on, smash that like button and subscribe because you know you don't want to miss out on this one. Chrissy Teigen and Donald Trump, a feud that nobody expected, but once it started, it made perfect sense. One is an unfiltered, no-holds-barred, say it like it is celebrity with a sharp wit and zero patience for nonsense. The other is, well, Donald Trump. Chrissy is one of those people who just doesn't have the time, energy, or patience to pretend. I appreciated what she said on Twitter the other day, seeing your response to being blocked by Donald Trump. I mean, it was bound to happen. Was it bound to happen because I was kind of surprised that he actually blocked you? Were you? I was surprised at the one that got me blocked because it was a very throwaway comment. I've definitely been that brutally honest friend who will tell you your outfit looks terrible before you leave the house, but she's also going to make sure you don't embarrass yourself in public. The woman has built an empire on keeping it real, whether it's her hilarious takes on parenting, her brutal honesty about celebrity culture, or just calling out ridiculous behavior when she sees it. And when it comes to ridiculous behavior, Trump is the gift that keeps on giving. He's picking fights with people on Twitter, like it's just, something's wrong with him. We all just wait for our day to come, and mine happened to be Sunday. Yeah, okay, so their feud goes way back, long before the days of him rage tweeting from a bunker. Chrissy had been clowning Trump for years, treating his presidency like the world's most poorly written reality TV show, which to be fair, it kind of was. She wasn't just throwing shade, she was setting up entire palm trees. She called out his tantrums, his bizarre late-night rants, his obsession with his own ratings, and his constant need for validation from people who wouldn't spit on him if he were on fire. A story on MSNBC about criminal justice reform, so he was a part of that interview. I was not a part of it at all. And then Donald, for some reason, thought that John was taking all the credit for it, and me, I didn't even know he was filming this thing. Honestly, I didn't know anything about it. So he just went in, he called John a boring musician and his filthy-mouthed wife. But then things escalated, because of course they did. Trump, who has the emotional control of a toddler on a sugar high, just couldn't handle it. He could ignore world crises, he could ignore intelligence briefings, he could ignore the advice of every expert in existence, but one thing he simply could not ignore, a supermodel making fun of him on the internet. So naturally, he did what he does best, he logged onto Twitter and had a meltdown. So, you said, we can't say it? I might have said something. You said something that we can't say? All right, that's a lot of ass, yeah, because we can't say those words. Can I say it now, if you want to? I said, LOL, what a president. During the gloriously unhinged moments of his presidency, Trump launched a full-scale attack against Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. The man was sitting in the White House surrounded by real global emergencies, yet somehow found time to throw a tantrum over a tweet from a woman who writes cookbooks. His priorities were clear. The best part? He called her a filthy-mouthed wife, not mean, not disrespectful, but downright grandpa-level insult. It was like watching someone try to insult a comedian with a joke that wouldn't even land in a third-grade argument. While Trump may have been close to making peace with the Taliban, he was going after America's true enemies, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, who had virtually nothing to do with it. Chrissy, ready as always, hit back fiercely, throwing everything at him, calling him weak and fragile for losing his mind over someone not fawning over him. The internet went wild. Watching Chrissy roast Trump was like watching an Olympic athlete perform at peak level. She made it look effortless. She turned filthy-mouthed wife into a badge of honor, leaving the internet laughing while Trump angrily typed away in all caps. The White House even tried to get Twitter to take down Chrissy's tweet, but it was Trump, not Joe Biden, who made the request. This wasn't even the first time Chrissy roasted Trump. She had mocked his strange way of speaking and his inability to handle strong women. And who could forget when she turned his infamous "I am the chosen one" speech into a meme fest? Chrissy wasn't just roasting him for fun, she was calling out the real damage he was doing, his attacks on women, his obsession with controlling the narrative, and his inability to handle criticism without crumbling into a mess. Trump had tweeted about John Legend and his filthy-mouthed wife attacking them for not helping with legislation, to which John Legend responded, mocking Trump for hate-watching MSNBC on a Sunday night. In the end, Chrissy Teigen walked away victorious, proving that if you're coming for her, you better be ready to be roasted. This wasn't just a Twitter beef, it was a full-blown saga, an Olympic-level event in trolling. Imagine being the leader of the free world and deciding your biggest enemy of the day is a supermodel-turned-cookbook author with a savage Twitter game. That's what happened, and the best part was, Trump lost spectacularly. Every time he tried to puff out his chest, she came through with the comedic equivalent of a needle and popped the whole thing. So what was the tweet that sent him over the edge? Well, it wasn't just one. Chrissy had been roasting Trump for years, delivering burns so brutal that if Twitter had a referee, he would have called the fight by 2017. But the final straw came when Trump, in typical late-night rant fashion, lashed out at John Legend and, for absolutely no reason, threw in a jab at Chrissy. Everyone's talking about you and Donald Trump. If you had a chance to have a face-to-face conversation with him? Chrissy responded, saying she'd never want to meet him, claiming it would make her throw up. Trump's attacks on her were a big mistake, as Chrissy is not the kind of person you take a swing at unless you're ready to get dragged across the internet. The second she saw his jab, she fired back and completely obliterated him in one tweet. The internet went wild, hashtags and memes flooded in, and Trump had once again played himself. Did he laugh it off? Take a moment of self-reflection? Realize that picking a fight with someone who thrives on public roasting was a bad idea? Absolutely not. Instead, he did what any rational, level-headed president would do. He tried to make sure Chrissy couldn't tweet at him anymore. Trump, who constantly complained about cancel culture and being silenced, decided that blocking Chrissy from replying to him on Twitter was the best course of action. Blocking someone is what you do when you lose an argument online, a digital surrender. Trump had to run to Twitter's moderators and beg for help, trying to pull presidential strings to block Chrissy's tweets. A sitting president needed protection from a woman who makes banana bread. Moving on, Chrissy Teigen, or Teigen if you're nasty, and President Trump may have to meet in the boxing ring, as it turned out that Trump unleashed a series of tweets blasting both John Legend and Chrissy after Legend appeared on NBC Nightly News to discuss mass incarceration. The irony was overwhelming. Trump, the self-declared champion of free speech, who constantly whined about being censored, was now trying to silence Chrissy because she hurt his feelings. He wanted unlimited freedom to spew nonsense, but the second someone fought back, he needed safeguards. This was the same guy who mocked political correctness and berated celebrities, journalists, and even world leaders, but when Chrissy clapped back, he had an immediate meltdown. The best part? Chrissy wasn't even fazed. It only gave her more material. She laughed it off, made more jokes, and watched as the internet turned Trump's reaction into one of his greatest fails. Trump took to Twitter to praise himself for signing criminal justice reform into law and seized the opportunity to lash out at John Legend and Chrissy. He wrote, "Now that it's passed, people that had virtually nothing to do with it are taking the praise, guys like boring musician John Legend and his filthy-mouthed wife. I'm guessing no Camp David for them either." Even Twitter got in on the joke, as Trump's team managed to get a weird filtering system in place so that Chrissy's tweets wouldn't show up directly under his posts, a half-hearted attempt at digital damage control. But by then, the damage was done, and everyone saw what happened.